Okay, to continue our study of three-dimensional figures, we're on 11.5. This is part 1 of it, but we are going to be covering surface area, calculating surface area and volume of the different three-dimensional figures. So our first one is surface area of prisms and cylinders. So remember or know that a right prism, we talked about this before, the lateral faces are all rectangles and the lateral edges are the altitudes of your prism. That's if it is a right prism, okay? If it's not a right prism, it might be an oblique prism, in which case you can see the altitude is not the lateral edges, okay? But it is, just like we talked about in our area of a parallelogram, it is the perpendicular distance between the two bases. So in each of these prisms, triangular, rectangular, pentagonal, hexagonal, okay, what I did, and you haven't done it, you might do it on your paper, is I went and colored in the base. So you can see there's a triangle here and a triangle there. Those are in parallel planes. The rest are rectangles, okay? We got a rectangle on the bottom and a rectangle on the top. Again, and so this particular one, y'all, you got 6 sides, and any side, any 2 sides could be the bases because they're all rectangles. But in this one, only the top and the bottom, which are pentagons, can be your bases. So it's a pentagonal prism, and then a 6-sided on the top and the bottom. And all the rest of the shapes are rectangles. So remember, the altitude of a prism is a perpendicular segment that joins the bases of the prism. And the height of the prism is the length of that altitude. So our formula for surface area, and y'all might have done this last year or in previous classes, where you went and found the area of each face and then just added them all up together. And that's fine if it's a rectangular prism, but these are going to get more challenging. And so it is in your best interest to know how to use this formula. Surface area equals 2b plus ph, 2 times the area of the base. B is the area of the base. P is the perimeter of your base, and H is the height of the prism. So I'll be writing that formula down every time, and then you'll see how it fits in, how the numbers from the figure fit into the problem. So find the surface area of the prism. Surface area is 2 times the area of the base plus perimeter times the height. So when I start off with, I'm going to go, okay, what's my base? So it's a good idea, y'all, as I've mentioned, to go kind of shade, if you can, this is my base right here, okay? And it's a rectangular prism. I can choose whatever base I want, but that's the one I'm choosing, which means the area of my base is going to be 4 times 3. And the perimeter of my base is going to be 2 4s, because these are both 4, and those are both 3. 2 times 4 is 8, 3 times 2 is 6. And of course, I prefer 2 times 4 and 2 times 3, but that's what I wrote this time. And the other number that's left out is going to be the height, and that, of course, is the distance between your bases. And I think, I've been encouraging you to put that in one fell swoop, and so our answer would be 94 centimeters squares, 94 square centimeters. All right, number 2. What is the shape of that? Look for 2 polygons in parallel planes, okay? This cannot be a lateral edge because it is a triangle. So this is a triangular prism. Again, surface area is 2 times the area of the base plus the perimeter times the height. So when I go plug in, my base is a rectangle. How do I find the area of a rectangle? 1/2 the base times the height. So that's 1/2 3 times 4. Now the perimeter is going to be 3 times 4 times, oh, how am I going to find that? Well, I think y'all know. I'm going to have to go, that's the square root of 3 squared plus 4 squared, which of course is equal to 5. And I just, for whatever reason, wrote it down there. I didn't mean to squiggle that out. Okay, so perimeter of my base is 3 plus 4 plus 5. And the other number, the odd man out, is the distance between those bases, and that's 6. So again, put it in your calculator. You're going to get 84 square centimeters. All right, number 3, surface area, 2 times the area of the base plus the perimeter times the height. So again, I'm going to easily, so y'all, if you will put your information like this when you take your test, it will be so much easier for me to give you partial credit because I will know what you're thinking. It is your job. And part of a great skill to learn is to document your thinking. So my base, again, is that figure where I've got the same thing on the top and the bottom. So I've got a triangle, and I know the hypotenuse of that triangle is 4, and I know that this angle right here is 30 degrees, so that makes that the short side, so it has a length of 2, and this is the long side. That's got to be a 60-degree angle, so that makes that 2 square roots of 3. And again, I erased my base, shaded in. Anyway, it's fine. So what is the area of my base? 1/2 the base times the height. 1/2 2 times 2 square roots of 3. The perimeter is adding all of these up, so 4 plus 2 plus 2 square roots of 3. And my height is the distance between those bases, which is 8. So when you calculate this, y'all, we've worked a lot of this in class, so hopefully, and y'all, I can't emphasize enough, please put these in your calculator and check and make sure you know how to use your calculator if you want to do well on this test. So when I multiply that out, that's going to give me 4 square roots of 3 plus 4 plus 2 is 6. And so 8 times 6 is 48. And then 8 times 2 square roots of 3 is 16 square roots of 3. And I can combine these two because they're both radical 3. So that gives me 48 plus 20 square roots of 3 meters squared, or square meters. All right, number 4. This one seems to throw people off, okay? It is not a right triangle, but you can see, again, here's my base. Got one in the front and the back. I'm coloring the one in the back here. But that's my base because the other shapes are rectangles. So I've got a triangle in the front back and a triangle in the front. So my formula is surface area equals 2 times the area of the base plus the perimeter times the height. If you kind of say it to yourself, y'all, you'll have it memorized when you finish your homework. So the area of my base is a triangle. So how do I find the area of that triangle? Well, hopefully from doing our regular polygons, you remember that if you drop the altitude down in between these two sides, this is an isosceles triangle. So if I drop the altitude down, then I know that my height, actually, I know that my base is 3 because this is bisected. And then how do I get that 4? That 4 I'm going to get by taking the square root, Pythagorean theorem, 5 squared minus 3 squared. And that's 16, the square root of which is 4. So that's how we got the height. So the area of my base is a triangle. So that's 1/2 6 times 4 because my base is 6, my height is 4. My perimeter is 5 plus 5 plus 6. And my height is the distance between the bases, and that's 12. So put that in your calculator, one fell swoop, and make sure that you get 216 square centimeters. All right, number 5. I have this time, that is a regular hexagon. So it's a hexagonal prism. Surface area equals 2 times the area of the base plus the perimeter times the height. And now I'm going to go in and say, all right, what's my base? Well, my base is not something necessarily easy to calculate. That's what we just did. It is the area of a regular polygon, which is, what, 1/2? No, come back here. Go away. I'm going to go here. 1/2. Area equals 1/2 the apothem times the perimeter. So remember, when I did this, I drew that triangle. We know that in a hexagon, they're all equilateral triangles because this angle up here is 60. So these have to both be 60. So that side is 6. All 3 sides are 6. When I drop my altitude down, I know that this now becomes 3, and my apothem is 3 square roots of 3. So when I plug in to find the area, remember this is part of this base. This is what I'm doing. I'm trying to figure out what this is. So I came over to the side instead of putting it all in there. Either one, y'all. Area is 1/2 AP. So that's 1/2 the apothem, which is 3 square roots of 3. And the perimeter is 6 times 6. Well, you saw that earlier. 6 times 6. So that's 36. Divided by 2 is 18 times 3 is 54 square roots of 3. Well, that's what I put in right there. 54 square roots of 3. That's what you get when you calculate this. The perimeter, we just did that. 6 times 6 And the height is the distance between the bases, which is 12. So when you calculate that out, this has a radical of 3. This does not. They cannot be combined. This becomes 108 square roots of 3 plus 432 square meters. All right, turn your papers over. That was right prisms. Now we're going to talk about a right cylinder. Okay? A right cylinder is basically a prism whose bases are always circles. Okay? That's what it is. So if you take this, they give a different surface area formula, but y'all, it's just like what we had. Surface area is 2 times the area of the base plus the perimeter times the height. Well, what's the perimeter? The perimeter of a circle is called circumference. But B, okay, B is always a circle. So what's the area of a circle? Pi r squared. C is the circumference of a circle, 2 pi r. That didn't come out right. And H is still the height of your cylinder. Okay? So let's go see how that's going to work. It's kind of an easy formula. It's not a lot of messing up you can do with it. So I've got a cylinder. Surface area is 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h. So when I plug it in, I just got to plug in for r. What is r? R is 8. So I've got an 8 here and an 8 there. And my height is 20. Okay? So again, make sure you can put it in your calculator. 64 times 2, 128. 16 times 20, 320, giving me a total of 448 pi square centimeters. Y'all, if you have any trouble, ask somebody next to you. If you can't get to me, everybody in your class. There are lots of people in your class that can help you make sure you get the right answer. Or make sure you know how to use your calculator before the test. Okay, number 7. Surface area equals 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h. All I need to know is my radius and my height. My radius is not 12 because 12 is the diameter. So my radius is 6 in both cases. My height is still the distance between the bases, or 15. And when you simplify that, you're going to get 252 pi square inches. All right, last problem. Often you're going to have to find the missing dimension. So that's what's going on here. Given the surface area, determine the missing side. So I have a prism. The surface area of a prism, it's S is S surface area. Okay, so I know that surface area is 2 times the area of the base plus the perimeter times the height. And I think you've heard me say, know the formula, plug in what you know to find what you don't know. So do I know the surface area? I do, okay. I know the surface area is 616. Do I know the area of the base? That's a triangle, so it's 1/2, 8 times 17. Do I know the perimeter? I only know 8 and 17. I've got to go find this missing side here. So that missing side is going to be the square root of 8 squared plus 17 squared, which is the square root of 353. So all the way around that is the square root of 353 plus 8 plus 17. And the height is my x. So how do I deal with this? 8 times 17, 2 times 1/2. You're going to take this here, y'all, and you got to take this part to the other side. You're going to subtract it. So that's 136. So 616 minus that is going to give me 480. And this just is going to become the square root of 353 plus 25 times x, leaving it all in the parentheses. And now you're just going to divide both sides by that thing right there, because that is what's multiplied by your x. And when you do, put it in your calculator, make sure you can do it. Horizontal fraction bar is the easiest. X equals 10.962, and we'll round that to 2 places, so it's 10.96 inches. And that's all we have for surface area of prisms and cylinders. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't hesitate to email me or come see me if you have any questions. Y'all have a great day.